Brian Reacts here. Today we're going to talk about and discuss about the NBA Power Rankings of the 2016 Week 17. So NBA Power Rankings is released every Monday during the season. So the Power Rankings show the improvement and the whole statistics of each team on the following week. So let's start off. So starting on our top 5 for this week, Golden State Warriors, actually my team, is still on the first position till the week 17. So here on the readings and information, it says Damian Lillard gave the Warriors a little taste of what it's like to defend Stephen Curry on Friday. So during the game on the Portland, Stephen Curry wasn't able to defend that well against Damian Lillard, which makes Damian Lillard keep on shooting from any area due to the lack of defensive tactics by Stephen Curry and the Warriors. So we lost two centers, which is Zelly and Bogut, due to the injury. So it would be a hard time for us Warriors to have no centers at the game at all. So the only thing for us to improve in our defense without those two centers is somebody is going to replace someone like a tank, like Draymond Green. He's good at rebound, and he could replace Bogut and Zelly. And also some other players such as Barnes can do the rebounds and defend the ball against the enemies. So the Warriors are at the first base, and this week they're going to battle with Atlanta Hawks, the Miami Heats, the Orlando Magics, and of course the Oklahoma Thunders again. So they happily set out the trade deadline but hope they can get something out of Anderson Varejao with both Andrew Bogut and Festus Zelli dealing with injuries. Like I said earlier, they've outscored their opponents by 29 points per 100 possessions with Draymond Green. So Draymond Green has a record of 11 triple-doubles currently in NBA. So what could you ask more for this player? He has the triple-doubles, the skills, the shooting, the defense, and many more. So this player is the combination of the overall statistics of a player that can be a higher above the average rate. So Draymond Green is what exactly should be the leader of the Warriors besides Stephen Curry. So at Draymond Green at center, but have used that look for less than 8 minutes per game. So top two currently is the Spurs. So Tim Duncan is back from the injury, which makes the team stronger and healthier again. But Kawhi Leonard tightness in his left calf is out. The Spurs are 4-1 without the reigning Kia Defensive Player of the Year, Kawhi Leonard. So Kawhi Leonard is the all-time first defensive player of the 2015. So without Kawhi, they could still defend. As you could see, their defense rating isn't that really bad. Like they could show their defense. Spurs is a tough competition for Golden State Warriors, as you can see. But in the recent games, we Warriors trailed them by 30 points on the game. So it would be also hard without Kawhi Leonard to play on the Spurs. It would decrease the defensive percentage, but Tim Duncan is a good defender with his height, with his skills and rebounds. He could be able to replace Kawhi at the moment. So the Spurs can do their defensive thing against their enemies. So their enemies they're going to face off this week is SAC, which is the Sacramento, Utah Jazz, and of course the Houston Rockets. So next is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Last week, fourth place, and they did a great comeback and went back to third place. So they have 40 wins and 14 lose. So the Cleveland Cavaliers has a 5 winning streak. So they're proving that even in the absence of Kyrie Irving on the Sunday's win in Oklahoma City, they just prove without any players that they can still play the game with team. So LeBron James is proving himself as a leader of the Cleveland Cavaliers. No matter what happens, they try to win the game. So as Tyron Lue as the new head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, I would say Tyron Tyron Lue did a great job on being a coach after David Blatt was fired due to the issue. So next off is the Thunder's OKC in at the fourth place, which is almost near on getting to Cleveland Cavaliers again. So 40 wins and 16 lose. So there are the two best players on the Oklahoma Thunders, which is also on the All Star, which is Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Together with the duo, they could combine as 80-point game or either 70-point game due to their stats. So Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook are both a great players. Russell Westbrook known to be an athleticism player, and Kevin Durant being the MVP of 2014. So these guys can bring up the team and carry up the team. So hopefully in playoffs we could be able to match with them. So next is the Clippers, which is on fifth place. So I would say that Clippers had a great improvement. Like even though Blake Griffin isn't in the Clippers to play for them, their star player, it just shows that Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford, and many other players, also the bench, can carry their team up to this point. So last week they were on rank 6. Now they have went up onto top 5. So this is really a great thing and a great improvement for the Los Angeles Clippers to be on the playoffs. So okay, now we're moving on the top 10 teams, which is the at number 6 is the Toronto Raptors. So the Toronto Raptors downgraded on rank due to their loss against the Chicago. So they're at 0-3, which means they have three losing streaks. So it says here their defense has been sleeping in general. They ranked 19th on that end in February. After ranking in the top 10 in each of the previous 2 months, Friday is their last game against the Cavs. So it says that the defense of the Toronto Raptors has been destroyed by their opponents. Like they have the wall to defend their opponents. But due to their lack of tactics, lack of analysis, they lost their defense, which makes their opponents comfortably to shoot and do the points. So DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, of course, the two best players in the Toronto Raptors, they're still doing good. They're doing great, keeping their team up and carrying their team. Okay, next off in top 7 is Boston Celtics. So another deadline has passed without Danny Ainge cashing in his chips, but the upside is that coach Brad Stevens has some in-season continuity, which has been a factor in the Celtics' offensive improvement over the last 6 weeks. So uh, Boston Celtics have been stable. So they haven't went downhill and they haven't went uphill. So they remain being consistent, which is very great. Like the Warriors, which is consistent, also the Spurs. But being consistent at the middle rank shows that they could defend and they could show offense at the same time, which is really great. So next off is Miami Heat, which is at top 8, and they have went uphill. Last week they were at rank 9. So with Chris Bosh going through another blood clot scare, so blood clot is really a bad thing. It shows that there's a blood stock due to the vein problem. So Dwayne Wade dealing with the sore knee. So it is so sad to hear that two of your best players can't be able to play due to injury. So and teams behind them making upgrades to their rotation. The Heat's playoff position appears to be fragile, but they got two important wins without their stars to start the pre-break schedule. So it is pretty amazing for Miami Heats. Without their stars, they could still play. So maybe Hassan Whiteside is doing something, and some of the other players are improving, showing that they can do their best and maintain their rank without their stars. So next is Indiana Pacers, which is at astonishing rank 9. So last week they were at rank 11. So Paul George has been doing a great job on the season. So at the All Stars, he had the most points, which is 41 points. But due to the West winning, which makes Russell Westbrook the winner. So I don't have many things to say about Pacers, but I saw the Pacers game. They were doing a great job. They're maintaining. They're winning games. As before, I saw Pacers had the bad winning streaks, bad losing streaks, but now they're improving, which makes the team very getting in high standards. So next is the Portland Trail Blazers. So this is the team which destroyed the Golden State Warriors at the last game. So the Warriors wouldn't mind losing because even the Warriors lose, they do a comeback on winning. So Damian Lillard dropped 51 points on the champs. So Stephen Curry had 31 points on the game, which is still good because if your opponent would destroy you by points and you still would be able to score that much, it shows that how consistent of a star you are. So for me, that Stephen Curry would be the MVP of the regular season this year. So let's go to the top 15, which is the Memphis, Charlotte Hornets, Atlanta Hawks, Utah Jazz, and Chicago Bulls. So at top 11 is the Memphis Grizzlies. So it shows how they have their downfall. Last week they were at rank 8 and now they are at rank 11. So Dave Georger didn't have a consistent rotation when his roster was generally healthy and stable. Now he's got injuries, guys coming back from injury, and three new faces. So PG Hurston started his second game with the team. Lance Stephenson's debut was an adventure, and Brendan Wright didn't make much of an impact upon returning from a 3-month absence. So Lance Stephenson is a great player. I know him, I know how he plays, so maybe him joining the Memphis Grizzlies would make great upcoming and standards through the team. So as we can see that last week they were at rank 8, so it means that they have lost some games, which isn't great performance on the NBA, which causes them to downgrade. So next is Charlotte Hornets, which is in top 12 right now, and last week they were at top 14 with 29 wins and 26 lose. So the Hornets added Courtney Lee, have Al Jefferson back. He scored 18 points in 24 minutes in Brooklyn on Sunday. So that is an amazing performance by Al Jefferson to score 18 points just in 24 minutes and have won 5 straight games holding their opponents under a point per possession. In each of the last 4, they've climbed from 12th place to 7th in the last month and could keep climbing with games against the 5th place Pacers and 6th place Hawks this week. So nothing to say much about the Charlotte Hornets, but glad to say that Michael Jordan did exactly bought a great team. Like Michael Jordan, the greatest player, the GOAT, bought Charlotte Hornets and the owner of the Charlotte Hornets. So it is a great decision for him to buy Charlotte Hornets himself. So it shows that how improving that the team can be having their owner as the greatest of all time. So next is Atlanta Hawks. Last week they were at rank 10, now they are downgraded to rank 13. Same as the Memphis issue, they have been downgraded by 3 ranks. So tomorrow, the Warriors are going to battle against the Atlanta Hawks. I know Atlanta Hawks have these great players such as Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver, and Paul Millsap, and many more. So here it says the Hawks did nothing, apologize to Kirk Hinrich at the deadline, and then lost at home to the starless Heat and Bucks. They're 5-9 over the last month, but plus 30 over the stretch. So last year, the Atlanta Hawks are able to become the first place on the East Conference. So it shows that Atlanta Hawks have downgraded pretty much this season. Would they be able to maintain the rank, or would they be able to up rank? So next is the Utah Jazz. Last week they were at rank 13. Now they are rank 14. So the Utah Jazz has lost against the Portland Trailblazers. I have watched the game, and I thought that the Utah Jazz would win due to their leading scorer, but the Trailblazers Portland proves that they can't lose. So now the Portland Trailblazers show that they are a strong team. Damian Lillard continuing to dominate the game. So the Utah Jazz doesn't stand a chance against the Portland Trailblazers. So next is Chicago Bulls, top 15, Derrick Rose. So Derrick Rose came out of the break averaging 26 points per game on 57% shooting in the first 3 games. So not point per game, excuse me for that, but their first 3 games. So this is an awesome statistics for Derrick Rose. He proves to be a great player, but sadly he wasn't able to attend the All-Star. Okay, now this is the top 20 teams. So at top 16 is the Dallas Mavericks, top 17 Detroit Pistons, top 18 Houston Rockets, top 19 Washington Wizards, and top 20 the New Orleans Pelicans. So at the top 16 is the Dallas Mavericks. So Dirk Nowitzki showing greatness to be their leader. David Lee is the new player that has been traded into the Dallas Mavericks. So David Lee was on the Golden State Warriors until he was traded to the Boston Celtics. Now he was moved to Dallas Mavericks. So hopefully the Dallas Mavericks would do a great comeback for having Dirk Nowitzki, Zaza Pachulia, and also David Lee. And hopefully Rick Carlisle doing a great job as a coach. So at rank 17 is the Detroit Pistons. Stan Van Gundy was aggressive at the deadline, adding Tobias Harris and if his back checks out, Donatas Motijuanas, but the Pistons have a 5-game losing streak which is very awfully for them. So Detroit Pistons was a strong team on the old times, but at this season, at the new generation, the Detroit Pistons couldn't able to become a strong team. But the Detroit Pistons is one of the teams who defeated the Golden State Warriors. So at top 18, which is still at the consistent rank, is the Houston Rockets. James Harden being their top player. So what makes me pissed off is Dwight Howard. Like he is a center. He couldn't shoot free throws, but it doesn't. It really it's not a problem for me. Like he couldn't even shoot at close shots, even at the perimeter line. But the only good thing for him is rebounds. So without Dwight Howard, the team would be still strong but less at rebounds. So rebounds is very important on the basketball. So you could avoid turnovers. So Dwight Howard needs to improve his shooting. Also, but he won't be traded and he's still on the Houston Rockets. So if Dwight Howard maintains his good performance and doesn't do bad shots like his last game, he would be able to stay at Rockets for furthermore. So top 19 is the Washington Wizards. Okay, trading for Markieff Morris was a risk. He has yet to make an impact and the Wizards lost an important games against a short-handed Heat team on Saturday. So I think Markieff Morris was traded. He was at Phoenix Suns. So John Wall being their star player, maintaining the team, they have upgraded to one rank and Bradley Beal is still coming off the bench through the other starters have been much better with him than with Garrett Temple at the 2. So Washington Wizards has many things to improve yet to upgrade the rank. So they would be able to still catch in the playoffs. So Mavericks is at top 16, which means that they are the last team to be qualified at the playoffs unless the Detroit Pistons catch on them. So at top 20 is New Orleans. Anthony Davis doing a great job, doing 59 points, which is very astonishing to say. So Anthony Davis has had a disappointing season in regard to both individual development and team success. But he had the performance of the year in Detroit on Sunday. The first 50-20 games since 2001, the Pelicans have won 4 of their last 5 with Drew Holiday averaging 23 points and 9 assists. The 28 minutes he and Davis played together on Sunday was the most they've shared the floor since Christmas. So pretty good job by the New Orleans Pelicans. So now we go to the 21 to 25 team. So at top 21 is the Sacramento Kings. It's not a good sign when it's considered a positive that you didn't make any changes to a 22 31 team at the trade deadline. DeMarcus Cousins is only 25 and has 2 years left on his contract. But unless the Kings makes a big run over the next 7 weeks, their playoffs drought will hit 10 seasons and there will be serious pressure on their front office to get its act together in regard to the coach and the roster this summer. So DeMarcus Cousins is their tank on the Sacramento Kings. Like Boogie is doing his job, doing those dunks, doing those rebounds, and he is Rajon Rondo doing the assist to DeMarcus Cousins and also the brother of Stephen Curry, which is Seth Curry on the team. So the Sacramento Kings needs to push their limits, needs to improve, so they could still catch at the playoffs. I know this team has many potentials yet, but they still haven't proved and showed it yet. So at top 22 next is Denver Nuggets. Last week was ranked 19. So seven different Nuggets averaged double figures in their two games last week. So they've scored at least 100 points in 15 of their last 16. And you can see the pieces of the puzzle coming together in a year of two. But we're not getting Coach Mike Malone defense yet. Yet they allowed the Kings and Celtics to score a combined 134 points halftime and have the league's second worst first half defense for the season. So Denver Nuggets had their worst defense at the first half for the season. So Denver Nuggets needs to improve their defense, and they have a terrible defense which causes the Celtics and the Kings to combine 134 points before halftime. So that is really terrible. So Danilo Gallinari and their players like Kenneth Farid needs to step up and needs to show their defensive. Also Wilt Barton. This team has potential as well because Denver Nuggets is a great team and a strong team. They're also one of the team that defeated the Golden State Warriors, which causes them 5 losses. So next is the Milwaukee Bucks, the first team to defeat the Golden State Warriors, which makes them 24 wins and 1 lose. So the Bucks are 3-1 with their new starting lineup: Giannis at point guard, Miles Plumlee at center, which scored 24 points in less than 6 minutes of Saturday's double overtime within Atlanta. Jabari Parker has averaged 19.5 points on 52% shooting in the 4 games, totaling 51 points with 24 boards in 2 games since the break. So the Milwaukee Bucks had upgraded 2 ranks. So even though that the Milwaukee Bucks is one of the lowest teams with the lowest and terrible record, they're still showing ways to improve their games. So next is the New York Knicks at top 25. The Knicks stopped the bleeding in Minnesota on Saturday thanks to a big game from Robin Lopez, the brother of Brook Lopez at the Brooklyn Nets. So, but not before they began the break by allowing a bottom 5 offense, Brooklyn, to score 109 points in a slow-paced game. They were 22-22 exactly a month ago, but have the league's second worst 3 points defense since then. So, from 22-22, now they are at 24-33, which means that they have lost 11 games and only won 2 games over this month. So it is a pretty bad performance for them for having 2 wins and 11 lose. So sad also to hear Derek Fisher being fired from the New York Knicks. Derek Fisher was a great player from the Los Angeles Lakers and have been able to team up with the Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, one of the best players in NBA, and this is his last season for the NBA. So at top 25 is Orlando Magic. The Magic gave up on Tobias Harris, the highest paid player of their young core, and you have to wonder if that core will undergo some more changes this summer. So because Coach Scott Skill is already using Brandon Jennings over Elfrid Payton down the stretch of close games, each of the Magic's last 5 games has gone down to the wire, and they've had the league's third worst clutch offense. So the Orlando Magic is having trouble with their offense, but I do not know much about their defense. So Orlando Magic needs to step up like the other team in order to improve. Okay, this is the last batch of team. Okay, at top 26 is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Last week they were at top 23, so which shows that they have a terrible game. The Wolves' bad defense carried over through the break, but their improved offense did not. There was talk of Ricky Rubio trade at the deadline, and he shot just 2 for 11 since, but the Wolves desperately need him running the offense because they have been terrible with Zach LaVine at point guard. The Minnesota offense has been at its best, 112 points scored per 100 possessions, with Rubio and LaVine on the floor together. So Ricky Rubio is the star player of the Timberwolves. So Ricky Rubio was the great player since ago, and Zach LaVine being back-to-back slam dunk champion and being the MVP in the World versus USA. So the Minnesotas have many great players such as Carl Anthony Towns, the Rookie of the Year, Ricky Rubio, Zach Levine, and many more. So they need to really do their effort, show their best, because this team has a big potential right now. But as they are on rank 26, it would be a bad time for them to catch up on the playoffs. So they wouldn't be able to be on the playoffs this season. Maybe at the next season, they would do a comeback with the record at 17 wins and 39 lose, which is very awful. So next is the Brooklyn Nets. So Brooklyn Nets has the first move of Sean Marks' tenure as net general's manager was waiving Andrea Bargnani, so he's off to a fantastic start. The summer will provide him another opportunity to sell off Brook Lopez and or Thaddeus Young. If that's the direction he wants to go, the circus is coming to down. The Nets are on the road. When they've lost 6 straight for the next 19 days, and they have league low 8 games home remaining. So the Brooklyn Nets needs to enhance their game. Brook Lopez not doing a great performance, which says on the description. So they only have league low 8 home games remaining before the playoffs. So the Brooklyn Nets needs to do something else. But even they still do something else, they wouldn't be able to play with the playoffs with this kind of record. 15 wins and 41 lose, which is more awful than the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, bye-bye for Brooklyn Nets for this season, I guess. So next off is the Philadelphia Sixers, which is funny, like the contra fellow. Like the Philadelphia 76ers have almost defeated the Golden State Warriors by only 3 points. So here it says Nerlens Noel's 24 points in New Orleans and Jaleel Okafor 31 in Dallas each had big games last week. And the Sixers offense has scored 103.6 points per 100 possessions over their last 5 games. Their best offensive stretch in the last 2 seasons, amazingly, they never scored a point per possession in any 5 game stretch last season. But they have allowed at least 63 points in 4 of their last 5 games halves they've played. So they've allowed their opponents to score that much, which is pretty bad. So 76ers is known to be the worst team last month and the last 2 months. But they have now improved, which made me happy because I know that Philadelphia 76ers has many rookies and young players yet to be a rising star on the future. So next off is Los Angeles Lakers, top 29. So D'Angelo Russell got his first start in almost 2 months in Chicago on Sunday. He had 6 assists, but the Lakers had just 13 total on 43 buckets. They allowed 65 points in less than 23 minutes with Russell, Jordan Clarkson, and Julius Randle on the floor together, but it's not like their veteran play better defense. After Sunday's cool Pau Gasol moment, there are only 9 more arenas left on the Kobe farewell tour. So it's sad to see that Kobe Bryant is going to play his 9 last games, which is very sad because I wouldn't like to see Kobe Bryant go that fast. Like all of us know that we wouldn't want Kobe Bryant yet to go. Yet he still has many years yet to play, like 3 years or 2 years since he's at the age of 38. But Kobe Bryant said, I could still play, my mind could still play, but my body wouldn't let me play. So it means that his body couldn't handle to play basketball anymore since he thinks that he's already old and he thinks he sucks what he says on the interview. But for me, Kobe Bryant will never suck because he remains to be a legend and to be one of the GOATs in NBA. So Jordan Clarkson is going to be the star when Kobe Bryant is going to retire. So I'm proud to see Jordan Clarkson being a rising star. He and should be the MVP on the USA versus World. So at last place is Phoenix Suns. So I wouldn't say anything to Phoenix Suns, but I am really disappointed for their losing streak. So the Sun has 11 game losing streaks, has taken them into the top 3 in regard to lottery odds, and they got another first round to pick for a guy, Markieff Morris, who's wanted out for 7 months and who tried to choke his teammates in the huddle 8 days before the deadline. They could have 3 first rounders this year, while also bringing over 2014 first round pick Bogdanovic. So the Phoenix Suns is stuck at the last rank. With them having 11 losing streaks, it would be hard for them to move at least even one rank with that record. Los Angeles Lakers only having 5 losing streaks, while the Phoenix Suns having 11 losing streaks, which is one and the most terrible streaks yet to be heard on the NBA. So guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to like. So I'll be doing more of these things on the future. Don't forget to leave comments below. What is your reaction and what are your thoughts about the NBA Power Rankings this week 17th? So thanks for watching.